Hello, everyone. I'm back. I am back. This thing is a little different now. Okay, God bless you, Crystal. God bless you. Hallelujah, Jesus. God, we thank you this morning. Oh, Lord, I thank you this morning. I was going to talk about manipulation, but I guess I'll do that tomorrow. Because Bishop Brooks want to come on here, so let him talk. Let him say what he got to say. Yeah, tell us about these men, because I'm over it. I am seriously over it. I ain't trying to get married and be divorced at all. I'm trying to be marriage is supposed to be for forever, not supposed to be married and then get divorced. So that's not what marriage is about. Marriage is about being with someone and staying with someone through everything, tough times, good times, bad times, all of that, you know? So we can't do that one and done. I know that's right, Christopher. And you guys share the broadcast for people to so people can come in, so people can come in and get blessed by the teachings. There's a lot of people need to know about this stuff. We walk around here, we say, but we don't know nothing. We say we know, but we don't. We want to pretend we know, but we don't. All righty, there you go.
How's it going? How's it going? I see you was on fire this morning. I seen you was on fire this morning.
I can't hear you. You kind of low,
Lord,
yeah,
that's
because
not
the Holy
good.
Ghost has been dealing with me since 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm done playing games with church folk and all that. I just feel this fire in me, like, Lord, I wish I could really say what I really feel, but I can't, so I got to be quiet.
Well, sometimes you can express what you feel.
It's hard to hear you though. We can't hear. Can you guys hear him?
Let me know if you guys can hear me.
Huh?
Type in the chat if you can hear.
Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear him? Type yes if you can hear.
Let me know if you guys can hear. They said they can hear.
Okay. It's
I can hear him.
Me though. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Probably just your volume. So yeah, you know, they said yes. Okay, so you know, this is an issue I think that we do have to visit. I typed in the chat. Remember, I typed we have to redefine relationships. You know, because we talk about how we got childish men. We talk about, you know, the feminine men and so forth. You know what I'm starting to learn is that the old school way of relationships is not the new wave of relationships. The man in today's time is complicated. Okay, I don't know if you guys understand that. It's very complicated. Okay, when I say complicated, in a sense, let me see if I can give you guys some examples. I may not be able to grasp it expeditiously, but men in today's time,
are you saying they're complicated?
Yeah, it's very complicated. The men, I'm talking about the men in today's time. This is why we have a lot of problems in these relationships right now. The men at today's time, they want to be by themselves, but they don't want to be alone. I know it ain't gonna make no sense, but it's a reality. You gotta probably whatever other video that's recording is making it where it has that echo. But that's the problem. It's like the men want to be by themselves, but they don't want to be alone. Okay, they want you there, but they don't want you around. If that makes sense. The way we are in today's time, don't you know what we place? What we place, the intimacy is football and basketball. Okay, that replaced the intimacy that men would normally have. Now, if we look at it and we go back to the old school way, let's just take it back to the old school way of looking at it. Okay, I think your whatever other phone you listening to it from is bringing that echo. But if you go back to the old school way, the man wanted the woman to always stay at home. She would be like a home wife, you know what I'm saying? When he come home from work, you know, from being a provider, because that's one of the positions is being a provider. Huh? You said what happened?
No, the echo is because I was trying to listen to, but I can't hear you. But go ahead, because I can come back and listen to it later. As long as they can hear you, it's okay.
Okay, but then I need you to be able to hear where you can comment too. So we'll try to figure out how we can make that happen. But if you look at it from an old school perspective, the men in the old school way, you know, so they do the working. They come home, the wife will be there, cook, have food ready, probably bath drawn, ready to give a massage and so forth on. And he don't want her to really go out and work and stuff like that because, you know, they have the mentality that we're the provider, we're the head of the household and so forth on. What changed is now women now are really providers. You see what I mean? The women now are providers. Women running for president. You got women that, you know, that have been to the moon, you know, astronauts. You know, women are now holding these prestigious positions now. So it's like if the man is supposed to be the provider, but yet the women of today's time are holding these prestigious functions and these prestigious I would say positions, then how do we define relationships of today's time? How do we look at it? Because a woman, she still didn't lose her ability to operate in emotions because she's an emotional being. And the man still have a tendency to operate in pride and leadership, but most of them are not leaders. But because that's their position given, as we look at it from the Bible, then they're trying to uphold a position only up here in the mind, but not physically. Does that make sense? Did I lose anybody yet? I hope I didn't lose anybody yet on that. So when I talk about the man being complicated in today's time, it's like a man can love you but not like you, if that makes sense. In your relationship, he can love you and not like you at times and don't want to be around you at times. During the times that he don't like you and he still love you, another woman can be liked and infidelity will take place. Does that make sense? Let me know if it makes sense to you guys. I'll go deeper if I have to. I have to detail if I have to. Tell me if that makes sense to you guys. Most of the times in relationships, if you notice, sometimes, you know, a woman, she, you know how men always say a woman is clingy, right? You too clingy. So the reason why a man will feel that way and feel cluttered is because the woman trying to still uphold her position and try to be there for him. But the mindset of the man today is that we want you there, but we just don't want you around all the time. Yeah, and the reason is because
we're not all clingy, because some of us don't like to be clingy. I don't like nobody clinging on me. I just don't. I don't like all that clinginess. I like the time and stuff like that, but all that clingy stuff, I don't like it. Now, for me, God gonna have to really work me, send me the right person, because I'm not clingy. And when somebody get too clingy on me, I can't do it. I like my space, so we understand that. We like women and men like their space. There are women that are clingy, but there are women that are not clingy and they don't want all of that. But there are times that women are sensitive and they need that.
But see, at the same time, we'll have to define what clingy is. Because if you notice that you having these problems in the relationships and it's always consistent throughout all the relationships. When I do counseling, marital counseling, I always write down their issues. What I'm learning from every last one of them is they have the same exact issues. The man is always feeling like she's always clingy. She's always wanty. She's always in his face, but yet there's supposed to be a love that's shared there. So the reality is, this is how I kind of understood that a person can actually love you, want to be with you, but don't like you all the time. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's, of course, don't nobody want to be with somebody all the time. Don't nobody want somebody blowing up your phone. I have vast relationship, people want to call me 24/7 for what? I ain't going nowhere, I'm home. So I understand what you're saying, but my thing is that in this time, what I'm seeing is it's really weird. It's really, really weird how it seemed like to me that in this time, men, they want what they want, but they don't want to give back. They just want, but then they don't want to reciprocate. And to me, it's like, I'd rather just be by myself. Because I can do by myself. I can make my own money. I can do whatever I want to do by myself and all of that and be just as happy. And I don't want to be, you know, we all adults. I haven't had sex in over 10 years and it don't bother me and I don't care. I'm good. So,
okay, so
you know,
some
of this stuff is just ridiculous to me.
But Rosemary,
the men these days are really weird.
But this would be the problem, though. The problem is, you as a woman, you wasn't designed to be by yourself. You was created for a purpose. What was that purpose God created woman? For what reason?
God created all of us to be with a mate. He said we're somebody's soulmate. We're the rib of somebody.
So pause. Anytime a woman comes to the place of where she would rather be by herself, then not saying it's a bad thing, even though I understand that it's something that a lot of women came to that conclusion. The problem is that you wasn't designed to be by yourself. God designed you for that man. I'm gonna read that comment because I don't like to miss people's comments. They want the cake and eat it too. Yep, that's true. I think it could be sexual as we become music, a danger from the love of the sex world. Celebrate these people the precious. Okay, to help them. Okay, I like that. But this is what I'm getting at. When God created the man, right? Even God didn't create him to be by himself because he recognized that he had cognitive reasoning and that he was a physical being. So God said it's not good that he should be alone. God was with him, animals with him, but he's still alone because God can't fulfill the sexual desires and that intimacy with that man. So he said, I'm going to help make companion. He made a woman. So he designed with the emotional state, with the body procreative shape, without Adam's input, and then he brought her to Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that a woman was designed to be there for the man, for communion, for procreation, and so forth on. If we have a problem when it comes to men and relationships and healthy relationships, and men is, saying operating outside of order, then it's only one thing that we have to do is get the men back in order, because a woman is not designed to be by herself. You see what I mean? Neither was a man designed to be by himself. Now, when I was talking about the clingy part, clingy is in like 5 different stages. It's 5 different. We have to really separate what we call clingy. Okay, bring it. What, boo? I said, been there, done that. Okay. So the reality, I like my husband to be close to me and be loyal. This is the way we should be, and that's the point. And that's the point too. I like that too. See, the clingy part. Me as a man, if I get married, I will want my woman to be there all the time, because I was raised different. You see what I mean? You got people that was raised to where they didn't have. Now, if you look at the mentality of the people that was raised by just a mother and not a father, you see what I mean? You're them type of men, they're gonna be more emotional. You see what I mean? This is why some women say, "Oh, he's more emotional than me." Yeah, exactly, because he didn't have no balance. He didn't have no man raising him. He didn't have a balanced home. So everything that he learned was from his mother. So he became more emotional, in touch with his emotions. He don't too much rationalize the situation. From his emotions, he make decisions. You see what I'm saying? Instead of rationalizing and making the right decisions and suppressing his emotions. Then you got men that was raised in a balanced home, and they able to rationalize through certain situations and circumstances. And then you got people that, was raised in abuse, and, I go down the line of all the different factors that plays a part in the type of man that you're dealing with. But what I'm trying to get at is there's a point to where we have to see what is the problem on a totality scale, to where we could bring a solution to the problems that seems to be consistent throughout all the relationships, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If first of all, as Christians, we will have to, and a lot of people, they they struggle with this, but I tell them it's the reality. We have to kind of somewhat, to a degree, pull out our spirituality and separate that from relationships. How many of you on here had a godly man that still did you wrong and still cheated? That's the question. How many had a godly man who was a Christian, still cheated, still physically abused you, emotionally abused you, but he was a godly man?
Well, I can't answer that because I ain't never had a godly man. All my men were unsaved, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. Well, so this is just for the women that had godly relationship and still got a divorce. Now, if you look at it statistically, the divorce rate in the church is higher than the divorce rate in the rest of the world. Now, why is that? Why is that a fact? He wasn't godly in the first place. He said he wasn't godly in the first place.
But Christopher said, you are preaching. He said, I heard a pastor say, I am a man of God, but he is still a man. And that is true. They're still men.
There she go. She said it. Look, she said it correctly. Because the reality is, just because you're a Christian, God doesn't disconnect you from your flesh to walk with him, which means you still got the same sexual proclivities that you got to fight now because you're a Christian. You got the same attitude that you got to change and force yourself to change because you are a Christian. You see what I mean? You got the same desires, libidinous desires, even though you're a Christian, because God said, when I saved you, I didn't disconnect you from your flesh. All the things you had in your mind prior to being a Christian, you still got them things in your mind. You can still think right now, and all the times you had sex, all the time you did a whole bunch of bad stuff, God did not eradicate that out your mind just because you got saved. You get what I'm saying? So some people want you more because you are a Christian and married. You know what? That's the desire. That's the libidinous desire. Them are the desires, and which is crazy because it's psychology. For those who know about psychology, you know, people have a tendency to want what they can't have. In fact, it's a challenge to them. That's why some of your homegirls that be around your man is not really cool, because just the challenge alone, she can catch him at a time where he love you but don't like you.
And why you said that, when I was married to my husband, and I had a friend, well, she was like my sister, and I know them two had some kind of thing going on, but I would have never thought that they would do that. But even though they never confessed to it, I know something happened. And that was supposed to be a close friend of mine that should have been like my sister, but I know that something happened. So it does happen.
Yeah. See, the key is, when you was a child growing up, and your mama, you know, brought some stuff, you can have something, but she'll tell you, don't touch that ice cream. The more you told not to touch that ice cream, the more you want it. If it was a boy that you liked it and she said, no, stay away from that boy is bad, the more she tell you to stay away, the more you want to go towards him.
I'm sorry, I just reading that.
It's a Kelly Price song about a friend of mine. Well, my thing is, stop lying and saying am a God-fearing man and not living the lifestyle. Now listen, that's good. That's good. But this is what you got to understand. The word fear in Hebrew is only reverence. Okay? It's not the Greek word phobia. Now, this is the reason why you can have a God-fearing man that would still go out and do some things contradictive to God. Look at David, right? This was a man that, after God's own heart, God dealt with David. I'm talking about intensely. His prayer life was phenomenal. David knew how to reach God, pull God off the throne when he wanted to. The same David raped Bathsheba, and I use the word rape for a reason. I don't use that he had sex with. I said rape because he was a king. And so when a king is authority, if he call a woman, she better come. You know what I'm saying? The kings was feared. You see what I mean? So he used his authority to bring the woman. So he raped Bathsheba, killed her husband. You see what I mean? Because he didn't want to deal with the issue, to cover up the issue. Yeah. But this was a man after God's own heart. And even today, you and I are still reading the book of Psalms and being blessed by it. Yep. Even though he did all this stuff, and he was a man after God's own heart. Yep. So it's not so much that the man saying that he is a God-fearing man. He's not exempt from the reality of life. This is why the Bible will tell you a man falls 7 times, but he get back up. So don't get it mixed up by him being a godly man, thinking that your relationship, eros love, is going to be all peaches and cream.
No, right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if that man was able to operate in agape love, you got something. You see what I mean? If he's able to even intertwine storge, phileo, and eros love together, then you kind of got something. But at the same time, just because he's a godly man doesn't mean he's a man of integrity.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
You're absolutely right. David repented. You're absolutely right. David repented. But let's say your husband go out and do the exact same thing and repent. Would you take him back?
Are you asking me?
That's the question.
Well, yeah.
If you get what I'm saying? So even though
I don't live that life, I don't took him back. Yeah, I don't took him back a few times.
Yeah. So the key what I'm trying to get at is, even though a man is a godly man, a woman is a godly woman, God doesn't take away ingenuity. He demands that you change character and conduct. But ingenuity is who you are. At the same time, you have a lot of Christians that are Christians, but they're baby Christians. They still haven't reached the point of maturity.
Yeah, that's true.
You get what I'm saying? Before I got married, I like to have a lot of women. Not married, before I got saved, I like to have a lot of women, right? I was just social. When I got saved, that didn't change. What I had to do now is put them things in order, because now I'm trying to do the things of God and not be a defect to other people's lives. But the desire don't go away. Mm-hmm. If I like to have sex a lot and I got saved, I still like to have sex a lot, but I gotta now control myself.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, just because you're saved doesn't mean that you're gonna automatically walk in integrity.
Right.
And this is the whole reason why Jesus said, do not judge. Right. Because when a person gets saved, God don't disconnect them from their flesh. It's a part of learning how to operate in the spirit, so you won't obey the lust of the flesh. That's a process. That's why it's always using everything as a baby. I have to feed you with milk because you're a baby. Yeah. So you crawling right now. You'll stand up, but you'll fall, stand up, fall to the point you get to where now you can walk and not fall. So in a process of change, we like to judge. Well, you're a Christian, so you shouldn't be. Well, you're supposed to be a man of God, he's a man of God, but he haven't reached maturity yet. Yeah. Are you there to help him mature? Yeah. Did you reach maturity? Now you haven't even reached maturity if you point the finger. That's right. Because you point the finger knowing that's like you having a little a 6 months, 7 months old baby, 8 month old baby, and they stand up and they fall down, and then you point the finger, oh, you fell down. You ain't supposed to fall down. No, he is supposed to fall down. He's a baby. He's still learning how to walk. Right. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, so I get what you're saying when you say relationship has to be refined. Because that's the point. Redefining the relationships. The relationships of today's time is not defined old school. We can't do that no more. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? It's not. You try to tell a woman in today's time, baby, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom and let me do the work. No, she's gonna go out work and try to make up the half of the bills. So who's the provider? Both of you guys? You get what I'm saying? Let's say no, but this is the point. That's the key of why I'm saying redefining relationships. We know man is the head of the household. The head part is psychological part. In other words, the man is the one that's supposed to be the protector. A lot of women, because they wasn't protected as a child, this is why most women that didn't have a father in the household, this is why they cling to older men, because they're looking for that father in that relationship. So they're expecting their man to be the father and their boyfriend. I believe that's very true. Because I was a mom and a dad, so I understand there are women that really cling to older men, and younger women that cling to older men. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. See, everything has a stem. It comes from something. So what I'm saying is, when I talk about redefining a relationship, if I say what is the man position and what is the woman position, you know what I'm gonna get every time? The old school way. I'm gonna get the old school where the man is the provider. So let's say I hypothetically meet Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah Winfrey loved me, and that we end up getting married. How can I be the provider and she can buy me, my mama, my kids, and everybody that I know a brand new car? So how am I the provider? So it took away the provider part because she's rich, millionaire. You get what I'm saying? So then what? Oh, now watch this. This should help some of you guys. So tell me this. What will make the relationship work with me marrying Oprah Winfrey? If my position that always been ingrained in me to be the provider and she already a millionaire.
Well,
so if I go, watch this. If I was to go and buy her a present, I spent $400-500 on her a present, and she would have bought me a present and spent $2 million and bought me a Bentley, but I got her a $200 cologne. You see what I mean? Psychologically, it's gonna mess with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, I can't do for you, which means I can't even operate in my position because they told me a man is a provider.
But if the times change, like you said, we're living in a new time. How does that matter? Why would somebody look down on somebody because they couldn't buy somebody something more than the other person?
Okay, so watch this. No, watch this. It's easy to say what doesn't matter, but if you look at the psychological part behind it, don't you know a lot of men in relationships will physically, emotionally abuse their woman because they don't feel like a man in the relationship because she's dominant. So what they do now is they have to emotionally unstabilize them so that they can feel like they're somebody.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that's what happens, and I counsel so many people in that position. I have to show them why and what's going on in that relationship. Because if a man doesn't feel like a man in the relationship, then what do we have? So in other words, if the woman don't feel like, just think about this. Just look at it from a psychological standpoint. Let's say, for hypothetically, we're in a relationship and the woman supposed to come to me, the man, for all her questions and stuff like that. But yet the woman is intellectually dominant, already established financial stability, got her own house, own car, better job than him. Then it's no more of her coming to him. It's more of like, how do I be a man in that type of situation? Because the reason is, like I said, the reason is because we're taking it from the old school way when a woman wasn't working. The woman was to stay at home, clean up, be ready for when the man come, have his food ready, and be there for when he needs you. Men in today's time carry a portion of that mindset, so they want the woman there but not there, but they want access when they want it. When they don't want access, they don't want her there, in a sense. I know it's probably complicated, but I'm just giving you the mindset of the man today. It's like, and this is why a lot of women feel like they're alone in their own home. That's why they feel like, you know what I'm saying, why when I try to come and talk to you, you always doing this, or you want to go with your boys, or you want to, and they going through all these emotional, roller coasters, because they're not realizing that the men minds has changed in today's time. We in a whole different generation of men. And like I said, we haven't had this much divorce going on and infidelity going on in history. So there's a problem.
It is a problem.
Now, like I say, go ahead.
Go ahead. It sounds like they sound like selfishness coming from the man, and they sound like the man needs to get his mind together, because it's to me it's like a double sword. You're saying the woman now is capable of doing this, and that, but it makes them feel like they're not worthy enough, which I don't understand. What's the difference? If you with a woman that has those things and she want to do those things for you, for Oprah Winfrey, whatever that name is, I don't know if his name is Steven or whatever. I'm sure she's taking care of him, and he don't got a problem with it. So I don't understand what's the problem in that. It seems like because mindset that's jacked up.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's not so much just the man mind's messed up. Both parties' minds is messed up. Because remember, and I ask women this all the time because I want them to really, really, really consider and pick one, and it's hard for them to pick one. I say, would you rather have a man that say he love you and never show it, or a man that show he love you and never say it? They think for a while because they know, well, I gotta hear it, but I gotta see it. You see what I mean? So it's like I need them both. A woman would look at it like I need them both because I gotta hear it so I can feel love. Because, even the Bible says faith come by hearing, hearing by the word of God. So we understand it's sensory perceptors. At the same time, women in today's time, they have a reality in front of them, but they allow what they hear to become more dominant than what they see. So the man say a whole bunch of stuff that make them feel good, but yet his actions is contrary. And they say, well, if you love me, then you will. Well, if you really love me, well, you're going through all these channels when he's showing you his actions. So I always command, I really demand that a woman give me an answer either or, because this is what, for me, one of the first steps for a woman to really say, you know what, let me start understanding what this man is doing as opposed to what he's saying. Right. You see what I mean? Because words can change your emotions, right? Actions can cause you to rationalize and say, okay, there's something about that. If you come to me and say you're a sheep, but yet you barking, there's something wrong. You're really a dog, but you say you're a sheep. So then, remember, this is kind of interesting. You know, I like this. Let me just tell you this, and this is a question I want you guys to answer this question. If you stay outside for a 24-hour period, what would you see the sun and the sky do?
Well, it's going to go up and going to go down. The sun's going to go up, and then the moon's going to come.
Okay, so that's great. That's great. What that is called is perception, right? That's what you see. You can't get around from what you see. That's perception. The sunrise, the sunset. But there's a reality behind perception. Reality is the sun is not even moving. The earth is moving, rotating on its axis, going around the sun, and it makes it appear that it's going up and going down. Yeah. So are you able to define what's reality compared to what you see? Because men know how to present characters to you guys to make you think what you see is what it is. But there's always, see, God gave you guys intuition. Yep. So y'all even have a deeper insight on perception. Yep. This is why everything is about spiritual. This is why you think the Bible says walk by faith and not by sight, because what you see will deceive you. What you know in the spirit will tell you exactly what's going on. Why you think when you pray you close your eyes? Because you block out perception. You get what I'm saying? The reality, and that's why I say, when you're dealing with these relationships, when you deal with these men, of course, we can define them, redefine them. We can tell them what, were you this type of man? Are you the cheat? Don't you know women have the power, the ability to cause a man to operate properly in his position by playing her part in her position? You know why? Because you guys were made for the man. Even though the man is ahead, you were made for him. And I know people get in their mind, well, I'm complete before I got a man. No, you're not. That's a lie. I don't know why people tell you that. That's true. You're not complete if you're single, period. The man wasn't complete while he was single and God said he's alone. The woman wasn't complete until she came to the man, period. Because God made man and woman to come together to become one. When you're not together and you're not one, you're not complete until you come together to become one. Because that's God's design. Now, you could be a complete whole woman, but you're not complete unless you're married. You could be a complete whole man, but you're not complete unless you're married. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is why God orchestrated that way, so you guys could become one. God took out of man emotion and sensitivity and left man with pride and roughness. Bring the woman to the pride and roughness, the emotion and sensitivity. Y'all come together, now y'all got balance. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And that's the balance. Now, like I said, the problem is if you don't understand the type of man you have and you don't understand his history, and this is why it's good to communicate. That's why they say communication is really powerful in a relationship, because you got to stop assuming what you think your man is thinking and ask him what he thinks. Stop assuming, men, what you think your woman is thinking and ask her. Because a woman, for some reason, and I call a woman heart the ocean. I call it the ocean because it's a lot of deep secrets there. A woman have a tendency to be mad at you about something you did 3 weeks ago, and you do something real small 3 weeks later, and it just blow up, and the man like, dang, it was just, but it's really not just that. It's what 3 weeks ago that we haven't really got together yet. We haven't even fixed this problem. So it basically built up, and now your small problem became a big problem. That's true. So at the same time, a woman kind of trying to like society play a part in this a lot, and I hate how they how they push this stuff out to people because it's just messing people up. But most of the time, when a woman have a problem with their man, if it's a situation, if she feeling some type of way, what you do when you sit down with him, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, a woman, she like, oh, well, I don't want to be like naggy. I don't want him to feel. And then you call your homegirls and you tell your homegirls, the problem, stuff like that. Your homegirls give you their opinion. But the problem is they give you their opinion from an emotional state. I would say, and I tell people this all the time, especially women, find a man who is a man of integrity, who have the ability to coach, have the ability to mentor, and ask the man the problems as you when you're going to deal with your man in the situation you may have, because you need to hear from a man perspective, because a woman can only give you her emotional side of what she's been through and how she dealt with it, and then what she feel. You see what I mean? If I had a problem, now say for example, I had a hypothetical, let's say I'm in a marriage, a relationship. I have a problem, you know, a situation with my woman. As a man, of course, being the head, I'm supposed to be able to really, you know, fix that problem. Now, if it's a problem that I'm not fully grasping, I'll go out, you know, so if I got a mentor, a prophet or somebody, I'll go to a prophet and be like, look, prophet, okay, so my woman is, you know, saying she doing this, she acting like this, she got this problem. And I would listen to what she said, because she's going to tell me from an emotional state. So because she can relate to the woman's emotion. You get what I'm saying? Even though I may have that ability as well, but it'll be more better for me to get the right information based on, instead of me going to my homeboys, oh man, just leave her alone, she'll get over it. Because he's telling me from a man perspective, you know, man, just go somewhere and let her give her a day or two. And then it gets worse, because she was like, no, now then you left for 2 days when I was trying to, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm getting it from him, and he don't really understand her emotions. So it's better to go to a woman that can give me the insight, a prophet or somebody that's, you know, saying it's really into the word, that can give me the insight of how she's feeling, because she's a woman that can relate. You know what I'm saying? It's vice versa. It's the same thing. When women get together, dealing with men, they get together and they share emotions. You see what I'm saying? They share emotions because they're looking for some tranquility while they're going through it. And anytime they can get that emotion, they can relate to that emotions. You know what I'm saying? A woman to cry, oh, but I know because my man did this. They can relate to that. You see what I'm saying? But they're not getting any information that can take them to the next level. Okay, she said that is so true, even with male versus female pastors. Exactly. So that's the key as it relates to, you know what I'm saying, getting counsel. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to get counsel from a pastor and their wife when you're having, you know, marital problems, issues and stuff like that. But like I say, I have a big problem with the way that we define relationships in today's time, because we're not understanding that everything shifts, the mindset shift, the way the man was brought up shift, the way the women think shift. Everything is different now. You know, most women in today's time, which is sad, but it's a reality, when they got a problem inwardly, they beautify their purgatory to try to feel good, because of perception, because they have to make themselves feel good, you know what I'm saying, outwardly, because they're not feeling good inwardly, if that makes sense. That's a whole nother different. That's a whole nother different.
If somebody don't like you or love you for who you are, they don't deserve you. Because why do you women have to go and change themselves for somebody to love them or care for them?
Now you said something powerful right there. If a man don't like you for who you are, the problem is, in today's time, men are not concerned with who you are. They concerned with what they see. You see what I mean? Notice, society projected this. You know what I'm saying? So a woman, you know, beautify their purgatory for to get the man. So they dress up with the, you know, some boom, they do their little walk and stuff like that. And the reality is, you're attracting the man. The man like what he see. He don't probably like you because he don't know you, but he like what he see. You see what I mean? So if you're gonna use that form, because I got like 5 forms that I teach on as far as the women. If you're gonna use that form to attract a man by purgatory, then you gotta have enough stability within yourself to make sure that he don't get no part of you until you understand who you are. Because if you allow him because you like him and you let your own desires get him and y'all get together, then you're gonna spend the rest of your life trying to get him to understand who you are, when he was only interested in what he saw. You get what I'm saying? So this is where
but that's what I was saying. I was saying, if they don't like you for who you are, because just because somebody body and all that is good today, don't mean it's gonna be like that 10 years from now. Anything can change. It could be an accident. They could be crippled. They could be in a wheelchair. And you're going to push them around. So if this is like for men and women, if you're going to be with somebody, you need to be with somebody that you care about or love or whatever it is. Internally know the person and love the person for who they are, because if anything should happen when that person becomes sick and they're laying in the bed, what are you going to do then? Leave them? Are you going to walk away? Because
most of them do.
A Coca-Cola bottle when you met them, but now they're like looking like a cow. So now they're sick, they're too heavy, that you got to do this. Then what are you going to do then? Are you going to leave them or are you going to stay with them?
Now watch this. See the cocoa bottle shape and all that stuff, we get that from TV, television.
No, but I tell people, there are women like that.
No, watch this. No, watch this. I'm just saying, that's the reality. But like I tell people, television, slow it down, tell a vision. Television interrupts your vision. You see what I'm saying? Because tell a vision gives you a different vision of the vision that you already have. You see what I mean? This is why so many people cling to Desperate Housewife and all these different social media type of, some platforms, because what they're doing is they actually changing their own vision for what they seeing on television. Now watch this. So they define, and this is interesting. They define for a woman to be sexy, she got to have pretty long hair, right? She got to have pretty eyes, right? She got to be, saying have a nice, butt shape, nice breast shape, right? This is what the world considered to be sexy, right? What happens to the women that don't fit that criteria? What happens to them? You know what they do? They feel insignificant. They go get liposuction, breast plants, Botox, contacts, anything to try to look like what they said is sexy, right? Because perception, they made a perception. Now, this is why a lot of women don't feel sexy, which is what sexy is. It's just the emotion. One supposed to feel sexy because they changed it to an outer appearance. So now women, they got the real, nappy hair, which is natural hair. To them, that's ugly hair, because if your hair don't look like what they say, then you're not sexy. You see what I mean? This is why women changing up who they are. Let me see what it says. I want to read what they says. I don't want to miss what they say. I know a pastor who left his wife after she had a stroke and became handicapped. He has a new girlfriend. Sickness and health goes out the window. I have to jump on to meeting and give us. It says, and the stroke was stress and from the lying, cheating, abuse. Yeah, you know what? That happens a lot, because for one, when they got together, it wasn't for the right reason. You know what I'm saying? He liked what he saw. He didn't care too much about who she was. So when you get a man that get with you, say he love you, but really just infatuated with what he see, you don't really have a real good relationship. When you get a man that rather have you for who you are, you got a relationship that lasts forever. Because when a man value who you are, he's going to value your emotions, your opinions, everything that is going to matter to him if he value who you are.
And that's true, because I've been getting a lot of phone calls last night about stuff like this.
Girls who take 3 to 4 hours to get ready to go out to the club. Exactly. Because they beautify their procotube, and they're going to get men that going to chase them down because they like what they see. And like I said, the only thing chasing cats are dogs. And out of 100 dogs, you're going to end up with one of them. After the bark, prepare yourself for the bite, because it's coming. You see what I mean? Because a man is not really so much concerned about who you are, your ingenuity, where you're trying to go in life, how can he help push you to your goals. He's not concerned about nothing. He like what he see. You a sex symbol to him, and that's all he's after. Now, like I say, that part, when you look at the procotube part, it's okay to use your procotube if you have stability to make sure that man really understand you. Now, if you don't have that stability, don't use your procotube, because you're gonna find yourself in a situation. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you think that you pretty and got that cocoa bottle shape that they say and all that good stuff, and then you start talking to a man, I guarantee you, if you don't take your time and let him know who you are before you get with him, you're gonna realize that it was only you that he was after and not the you that he was after. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, like I say, the complication of the man today, the reason why I say redefine the relationship, because women have to really kind of learn how to relate now to these type of men. The way your father was and how you treated your mother growing up years ago is not the same mentality as today's time and the men that we raise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but men know men know if that person is going to be in their life temporarily, seasonal, or forever. They know. Men know.
But see,
they do know.
Now this is what I'm saying.
They do know that.
Okay.
I'm telling you. I've been around.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you from a man perspective.
Okay.
They don't know. Okay. I'm gonna give you a man perspective. We don't know. We can hope. We can assume, but we can get with you because we like you and then find out that you're just not the person for us. So it's not that they know, they're searching to see what they have to deal with forever, because a marriage means that we're going to be together forever. Now, when a man look at a woman, in his mind, it's about sex, but then in the back of his mind, like, what is she the type of woman I want to be with? What has she got the characteristics that I'm looking for? So a man is never going to know until the engagement or until the contact. So us just looking at, just like a woman, she could look at a guy and she be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to be with him. And she don't want to be with him, but then start finding out some things about him and say, oh no, shoot, I'm glad I didn't. So it ain't that they know, it's that they're searching. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times I done dealt with people where I just thought that they was just, you know, and then next thing you know, I'm starting seeing something like, oh wow, dang, that's, oh, woo, good gracious. Okay, oh Lord. And you start seeing different stuff that comes out of you like, man, you would have never expected. But it ain't that the person is a bad person, they just need healing. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. They need healing. The problem with relationships is people just need healing. Men is not going to so much bring a lot of stuff out. A woman have to know how to dig it out. When a woman get in a relationship with a man, come in with a shovel. Because a man will bury some things, but yet his character and his action will show you some things that will make you like, dang, why is he tripping? Well, it ain't really tripping. Get your shovel, dig, and see what that source is at and uproot it. Y'all have that gift and don't use it.
But men,
y'all allow your emotions to really be the whole factor, and then y'all feeling that your emotions, oh, well, I shouldn't be treated this way. Well, if you love me, you wouldn't do. Well, okay, so if he's doing this, what is it in him that's causing him to do this? Because he could be a good man, but just messed up. I met a lot of women that I think are real good women, but then the things that they do, I said, okay, well, they just psychologically messed up. They emotionally imbalanced. They've been through some things. Man that dogged them out, hurt them. The mother probably abused them. They've been, you know, whatever the case may be. It's not that they're not a good person. They just need some healing. You see what I mean? The more that we down these men, guess what? They become what you say. Because the Bible says, so what a man think of in his heart, so is he. They got the stigma and they constantly pushing it out there. And the men that really don't understand themselves and looking to grow, they hear so much of where they just, oh, well, that's just what I am. And they accept it and they become that.
But that also applies to a man. You know,
that's what I'm talking about, the man.
Too. They need healing.
That's what I'm talking. That's what I don't know if you was hearing me. That's what I said.
You said to dig.
I was dealing with the man. I wasn't even dealing with the woman. I was dealing with the man.
Okay, but
the men are the ones.
But you were saying that they need healing too. But you're saying that we have to dig and dig and dig and dig. But some men got a wall bigger than the wall of China. How are you going to reach somebody who got a wall up so big that you can't? They won't bring it down. How do you deal with a person that has a wall up and refuse to bring the wall down? Refuse to let you in. After a while, the woman is going to get tired and say, look, you know what? You keep your wall, and God bless you with that wall.
Okay, and guess what? And that happens, and then she end up in relationships and get dogged out all through her life because she didn't want to have the stability in herself to deal with some things. That's the point. We like the path of least resistance. That's just life. Don't you know that person is somebody's child, a child or son or daughter, and the mother knows their baby, but they don't know who they became because of their circumstances.
Right.
You see what I mean? So you, on the other hand, don't know who they are. All you know is what they presented. So if you don't have enough root in yourself to get your shovel and dig. He said, woman need to bring the wall down to you. You're absolutely right, because a lot of women have it, a lot of men have it. But this is the problem. It's not so much about the wall, because if there's a wall there, the wall was built for protection. So you can't expect a person to remove their protection. It's psychological. When you meet a man that got a wall, he has a wall because he had to protect himself from something that hurted him. Okay. Same thing with the woman. So it's not so much of removing the wall. The reality is learn how to climb over the wall and be in there with him.
So I get what you're saying, because the woman been hurt, the man been hurt, and you got to come together and try to figure out what the deal is. But I like what she said. How do you deal with a person that twists your words because of what of that wall? How do you deal with somebody who does it, that twists your words?
Okay, so it's not so much really that they're twisting your words. What they're actually doing is making it make sense for them, and they're rationalizing. That's a tool that you have for yourself, and you didn't even know it. The moment your words were twisted, you listen to everything he said, and then you go write it down, and then now you do your work. Because all he did was he took what you said, interpreted the way what way he think, and now he issued out exactly what's going on with him. That's a tool that a woman have and didn't know it.
That's good.
But the woman, most of the time, she allow her emotions to get in the way, and then it becomes an argument. And, oh, you always twist my word, you always say. No, let me hold my emotions. What you're saying is valuable, because if that's how you saying what I'm saying, then evidently there's something wrong with the way you're thinking. So something must have happened to where I need to find out where that source is at, because once I eradicate that root, then I won't have to, then I'll say something, and then it won't be twisted no more. Remember, every action causes a reaction.
That comes with communication.
That's part of communication. A lot of women, like I say, if women have the ability, and this is what I like to, this is what I'm really pushing for women to do, is to learn how to suppress their emotions and say, you know what, this at the time I would really get mad, but I need to know, why is this action happening? You see what I mean? If psychology is trying to find out why we do what we do, let's find out, why is this happening? What is it about him or in his life that's causing him to react this way towards something that I wouldn't even react like that? So that's why I say you have to come in with a shovel. If the man got a wall up, don't try to tell him to pull down that wall. Jump over the wall, jump in there with him, and be in there together and look at the wall and start analyzing the wall. So that way you can understand him. You got what I'm saying? Because some people are just not understood. You know what I'm saying? You even got people within your circle, friends within your circle, and they still don't understand you, and they'll say, you crazy girl, you tripping, because they don't understand where you're coming from. The lack of understanding makes people crazy. That's not crazy, because it becomes just their opinion.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, when I talk about redefining relationships, we have to understand what makes up a relationship today. Not what made up a relationship 30, 40, 50 years ago, when men had a whole different mindset. The things that was going on wasn't the same. What is it about today that makes a relationship? What is compatibility today? He says women, let me see what he says. Trevor said women and men do the same things. The wall is distress. I know if a woman has been hurt, if her father has hurt her mother or did something to her, she will distrust most men. Again, I know, let's see, I know that, let's see, okay. I said, heck, I was hurt by a few women, and I said in my heart and mind when I was younger, I'll never trust a woman, but I've been married for 31 years now and 11 months. Exactly. A lot of times, like I said, a lot of times, remember, we as people, we give people characters. You know what I'm saying? And this is going to be crazy. I'm gonna be real with this. We actually program our children. When the Bible said raise up a child in the way they should go, so when they get older, they won't depart from it, we program them. Because their mind, when you don't you know there's a lot of things that you won't do because your mama said that it wasn't good, and so you always respect your mama, so you cling with that. Even if mama was wrong, you still cling to it. You see what I mean? So at the same time, everything that we go through in life began to attach to who you are and becomes a part of your thinking. That's why I tell people this all the time. You cannot control what goes in your mind, but you can control what digests into your heart. Because what's in your mind can always be changed by ideologies and opinions. What goes into your heart, you ain't finna change that, because it's something that goes into your heart. Like the Bible says, so when a man thinketh in his heart, so you become that once it gets there. If it's up here, you look. That's why people search for opinions from other people. They search for mentorship from other people, because while it's still in their mind, they want to make sure before they digest it in their heart and it become a part of them, they want to get the right things to digest. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of things have to, like I say, be eradicated even out of the heart. That's why I say it's all about redefining. That's right. Children are a reflection of us. Exactly. You're absolutely right. So like I say, just real simple things. And I'm let you talk if you got some things to say. But I just want to just clarify some things on a biblical level, for those who kind of still hold that notion that God sends the husband and God sends a wife. Okay, so I want to just clarify that, because this has been a big impact in relationships, because people say, oh, well, I'm waiting for God to send me a husband, and God never said in the word, not one place, that he was sending a husband. We have the men say, oh, well, I know God going to send my wife. Well, we have not one scripture in the scripture, nowhere where God said he'll send your wife. It always deal with the man that finds a wife, finds a good thing, and finds favor or obtain favor with the Lord. And the reason why it's in that sense, because when you're dealing with relationships, you're going to deal with eros love. Eros love is conditional. For those who don't know, it's a conditional love. It's actually demonstrated with an arrow that has a hook to it. It basically means the more you care for me, the more I care for you. How you love me will determine how I love you. It got nothing to do with agape love that God gave us from the Holy Spirit to love even our enemies. We talking about eros, relationship love, and them type of loves when you're dealing with relationships. And like I say, you can go back and look at how Paul even said, I prefer that you be alone. Just stay by yourself. Of course, his reasons for that is because at that time they was expecting the return of Christ, because they was being beheaded, killed, and so forth on, and he wanted them to focus more on getting people saved. For those who don't know the history or the dispensation interpretation, so that's not to get out, said misconstrued. But at the same time, if we really learn, and like I said, I there's so many. You know what? I don't want to no. You know what? Because I got to do a whole teaching on that, so I don't want to dig into that, because then I just be going for too long without letting everybody say what they got to say. So what do you got to say? Because I don't want to dig into that part, because I have to really keep on digging. But what you got to say? What you got to say? What you got to say? Go ahead and get your last things out. If you got something that you want to, or anybody got a question, or we'll probably just let the audience, if they got a question, just throw out a question, and then we'll go ahead and let this go. But remember, you guys, if you're looking for a relationship, women, make yourself available, in a sense to where, and don't say that you're not looking for a man, but yet you talk to somebody that you might want to be with, but you say you're not looking, because that's called missed messages, and it changes the man mindset. If you single and you want to be alone, then make that very clear that you want to be alone. But if you do want to be alone, like I said, once again, you wasn't designed to be alone. So I would say start paying attention to what you say, and then mean what you say, because if a person holds you accountable for what you say, then you shouldn't have no attitude or be mad when they hold you accountable by the own words that came out of your mouth. Let me see what you said right here. It says, I saw my father hurt my mother by him messing around with other women. Me and my brother saw it. Our mother told us, don't be like your father. You know what? And that's crazy, because a lot of times we as parents, we'll tell our children, saying, do what I say, not as I do. But yeah, perception, like I say, it's dominant. And a lot of people go through that. Even though I've seen stuff like that, for sure you've seen it. For sure a lot of other people seen it on here. But a person can now actually adapt to the emotional distress at the time, and then make that something that they would never do just by what they experienced or saw with their own eyes too as well. From men's perspective, you're right, Bishop. You're right. Thank you, sir. I'm waiting. I'm waiting, being still. Okay, I'm waiting, being still. That's right. Manifest what you want. Okay, when I was with my ex, God showed me multiple times he was the one operating in his flesh. He said God told him otherwise. Yeah, you know what?
But now he's trying to come back, and I wouldn't take him back. Leave him where he at.
Just recently inboxed me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not with, depending on the circumstances, I'm not with going back to your exes. Nope. But I do know that God has a way of doing a separation for preparation. Okay, God has a way of doing a separation for preparation. Now, I don't know the full circumstances, but there are instances, and I've counseled people like this that asked me, should they go back to him and so forth on. They gave me all the details, and I told them, like most of the time, like I say, God sometimes have to bring you to a place of solitude to understand who you are, so you won't be affected in the relationship. And sometimes that has to happen. God has to kind of define, put you in a place where you're by yourself to really start working on the inward part of who you are so you can deal with the ramification that may come from men being able to operate in free will. Okay, so it's I don't know the full details of that, but I have seen a lot of relationships where people got together and still married to this day, and very happy because they was able to see what they didn't see while they was connected. You see what I mean? It's the same thing as I gave you guys when I talked about, what do you see the sun do? Go up and down, so forth on. The only way we understood that the earth is the one that's moving and the sun is standing still is because we had to disconnect from the earth, go into space and look at it from the outside in. And that's how we was able to see what's really going on. Once you back connected, all you can see is the sun go up and sun go down. So I do, like I say, I do understand that some relationships, I seen people that been married twice, they was married, they divorced, and end up getting remarried again and live the rest of their life out, because sometimes it takes being separated to understand what you have and where you go wrong at the time. That's why, don't you notice why people can always look into your relationship and tell you what's going wrong in your relationship, but they having problems in their own relationship and can't see what's going on in their own relationship? It's because they're connected. You see what I mean? This is why they always look for the outside sources, because the outside can see in what love will blind you to. You see what I mean? Because you could be connected by Eros love and be blinded to the reality, because your desire and that love that you have blind the reality of what's going on, and you only going by perception and what you perceive, which is interesting. Whole nother different teaching, but interesting.
No, this is good teaching. This is good teacher, because it's not only for relationship, but it's for families too, and associates and co-workers and people that want to keep pulling on you and stuff like that. So, because I've been getting a lot of phone calls even on last night about stuff like this, and that's why I'm trying to help them, with the families. The family, my mother don't love me, this don't love me, they don't love me, they say they love me, but they don't love me. It's not the person. Some people are just hurt. They're hurt. They've been wounded. And sometimes you think you're healed from something, and then God will turn around and pull that root right back up and say, see, it's still there. It's not gone. And then you have to deal with that.
Yeah, what happens is the root wasn't out. So a leaf grow. And when a leaf grows, then the leaf now becomes the problem. You see what I mean? Because it wasn't eradicated or uprooted. At the same time, a lot of people, I think they use love loosely. Yeah. A lot of times it's not really love, it's affection and obsession that people substitute for love. Most of the time women substitute gifts for love. So they feel because he's buying me this stuff, he love me or he care about me. No, them are gifts. You tell me that has nothing to do with what love is about. And this is why people have to, like I said, really understand what love. I already typed in there redefining love. We got to know what love really means and stop mixing up agape love with eros love. They don't go together. They two different loves. Storge love, phileo love, two different type of love. They all separately have all different functions. You see what I mean? And so a lot of women are looking for the man to storge love them instead of eros love them. They're looking for them to agape love them instead of eros love them. You see what I mean? And so they confuse on what to accept and what not to accept, and what they really want and what they really don't want. You know what I'm saying? I remember I typed in the chat. I said a lot of people they only want to be married because they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be by themselves. Why? Because God gave you guys a desire, a longing. You know what I'm saying? And that desire and that longing God placed into you guys that you can't get away from. So anytime a woman want to be by herself, it's not because she want to be by herself. It's because of the things that happen in her life that's pushing her to be by herself. And now she got to grab a hold to her emotions and feel comfortable with being by herself, even though she's not supposed to be by herself. Let me read this comment. My wife, before I met her, was married, and he beat her and choked her, and he was married to several other women, and they had probably you must say kids, I think, children too. My wife was damaged, and she was hurt by her father too, but only through God and Jesus Christ and the scriptures, and they're of God. We are standing in Christ by the Spirit of the truth these last 31 years and 11 months. Amen. That's what I'm saying. Listen, God knows how to do things. Now God repairs. He repairs the heart. You see what I mean? The decision making on relationships is based on the people. You know what I'm saying? It's always based on the people. I say this over and over. I have friends who are atheists. I have friends that are Buddhists. I have friends that that are Islamic, because I used to be a Muslim 25 years, for 25 years in the past. I have people that don't even believe in God at all. You know, so at the same time, they have long relationships. You know, I wouldn't say perfect, but they have relationships to where they respect each other. And my monks friends, they like have, I consider, perfect relationship. They won't argue, they won't cheat, they won't cuss at their wife, nothing, just total respect. So they have real good relationships. You see what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, so as Christians, it seems like we should have relationships that they're having. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, from how we always been taught, of course. So how do we look at that, you know, in that sense? So that's when I started realizing, you know, as God, you know, constantly would show me, relationship is based off of us. If I find a wife, I find a good thing to find favor. If a woman finds a husband, she finds a good thing to find favor. Because the word find in Hebrew just means uncover or discover. You see what I mean? It's always in the Bible as male or man, because the Bible was predominantly written targeted to men. You see what I mean? All throughout the scripture, it's going to say man. You're not going to really see women there. It's not going to even say a good woman steps is ordered by God, or so would a woman think in her heart, so is she, or except a woman is born in the water, spirit. It's not going to say woman at all. It's going to always say man. But all of them principles apply to the woman as well. So women like the fact that they can just stay back and let the man chase. You know what I'm saying? Which is normal, but then because it's a normal thing, it's been going on for a long time. But then there's a time where women have to step up and say, you know what, I see this man, you know, because remember, a lot of real men is not going to chase. You know what I'm saying? A real man, a man of integrity, a man that stands for something, he's not going to chase. He's going to just wait until, you know, things happen or things is in order, and then he might take advantage of the opportunity. It's different. It's a different approach. You see what I mean? If a man is constantly chasing you, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother different topic. See, I have to go down that line. I don't want to go down that line. I've been out here for an hour. I'm up here at my car line. I got to get some people in some cars today. Got to get people approved for some cars today. So I can't really be on here too much longer. I've been sitting in a lot for a second. But like I say, I'm just going to throw this little tool out for you guys. In men's mind, when they chasing a woman, you know what I'm saying? Because a woman, you know, like to chase, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you got to find me, you got to chase me, you got to prove, you know, all that good stuff y'all women like. After the chase, once they get you, I promise you this, 4 or 5, 6 months in the relationship, a lot of things going to change. And what's going to change is they don't have to chase no more because they have you. You have to now elevate yourself to the second form of marriage, or the second form of a wife, of your position. Okay, if you don't elevate to that second form, your relationship gonna end. You know what I'm saying? Because you gonna get the, you know, you used to say you love me, you used to take me out, you used to say I was pretty, and now you don't. You gonna get through all them emotions, and then, you know what I'm saying, and then that's gonna be some of the things that the man gonna really kind of say, like, girl, you know, you tripping. But the point is, just because he got into that place of a 6-month period of time, what I call comfortability state, if you don't shift, you know what I'm saying, into your second position, yeah, it's gonna go bad. I'm just letting you know. But some of them things, like I said, we'll talk about them when I do this whole little series and stuff like that. But the different stages, because a woman, believe it or not, a woman have 10 different stages that she needs to have in a relationship when she get married. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all the way to stage 10. You see what I mean? So I'll be talking about them things. I know I'm supposed to be going out there, you know, July out there to do that Mega Fest, that 4-day Mega Fest, dealing with, you know, the Women in Danger series that I talked about, and a couple other stuff I'm gonna be talking about as well. But you know, I just want, like I said, I wanted to just talk a little bit about, you know, redefining relationships. It has to be redefined. We have to really understand the type of men we're dealing with today, the type of women we're dealing with today. The women is more prone to want to be in a relationship. Men are more prone to want to just play around and play games. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they want to play games just because they want to play games. It was how they were raised. You know what I'm saying?
But then you also got to take in consideration that some women don't know how to do that, to do all of that, because they're haven't been you know, they haven't come to that. They haven't experienced that, so they don't know how to.
Yes, I get it, and that's the whole point of the teaching and the mentorship, is so that they can understand the techniques and the tools that they actually have that they haven't been using. You see what I mean? If I tell you guys just how powerful God made you guys, it might blow your mind. You see what I mean? You think that you got to not want to lose that man, and it ain't even supposed to be that way. I hate that society even projected it that way. I hate that society put it out there that the woman is a sex, now men just look at women as sex symbols. Yep. You saw me, the first thing they do when they see you is like, oh, I want to hide, his doggy style. Ooh, that's all men, just go through men's mind, because men are like, it's like women now became a sex symbol, and that's it. And they put all throughout television. Everything that you see is all about the woman being the sex symbol. Get the woman, and then they put it to where now the woman got to do what she could do to keep the man. So I had to counsel people that the woman called me, asked me, saying, well, her man want to do a threesome, and saying she don't want to lose him, and so I think she should do the threesome, saying, to keep it, because we do need to spike up the relationship. All the time I'm listening, I'm like, what are y'all? I'm not even coming from it from a Christian perspective. I'm just coming from it from the reality, the psychological perspective. You see what I mean? It's like, do you hear what you're saying? Do you hear what your man want to do? And do you hear what I said? And this is what I told her, because I want to make sure I step outside the Christian part of it, even though I use the Bible as a substratum. But I asked her, I said, well, this is what you do. Tell him, yes, you do want to do a threesome. Well, you'll go ahead and do it. But tell him that you want to do it with him and one of his homeboys. She said, what? I said, yeah. I said, he want to do it with you and a girl, right? He wants you to do a threesome. No, because what I did, this is the psychological part of it. He tried to force her to do a threesome with 2 girls, right? Him and 2 girls. I said, tell him that you'll do it, but you want to do it with him and one of his friends, one of his homeboys.
I bet he didn't do it.
Of course he not. Of course he not. He'd be probably ready to slap her across her face. But the reality, like I say, there's psychology for certain people, especially depends on who they are. At the same time, like when you're Christian, when you have a Christian foundation, I like to use the Bible as a substratum, because the Bible is everything. You see what I mean? Some people that's outside of the Christian world, they can't really identify with certain Christian techniques, because because most pastors don't know how to use psychology as well as biology with theology. They just always go to theology. You know what I'm saying? A woman getting abused, beat up by a man, and she come to the to the office and talk to the pastor. The pastor say, okay, read Psalms 3:4, read some. Man, she don't need to read nothing, man. She's being abused, man. You need to deal with her issue. I know what Psalms say. She know what Psalms say. That ain't the issue. The issue is her man is beating her up. You need to, you know what I'm saying? It's like we. Hold on, my other phone came on. Yeah, it's like we're so stuck on theology to the point to where we're not understanding how to really use all portions of the Bible as a whole. I don't know on my phone.
This is good because it's helping. Like, I'm sure it's helping a lot of women, because a lot of times too, women are afraid. It's not that we want to be alone, but we don't want to go through the process of finding somebody, being with somebody, and then not working out, and then you right back to where you started from. And relationships should be, once you're married, you stay married. You don't just get married to be married for a year or 2 and then get a divorce. That's something that you should be with somebody and stay with them. Don't nobody keep changing partners every time things don't work out.
Look, I'm gonna mess some people up with this. Biblical marriage was sexual intercourse. A lot of people was married to a lot of people already. We got into where we start doing paperwork now, so you can get half of what I get if we divorce, and I get half what you get, or all the legal part of it. But once you have sex with a woman, you actually married. The reason why after a marriage, when y'all do the whole thing, y'all go to the hotel for the little honeymoon thing, y'all go there so y'all can consummate the marriage. Because even though y'all got the paper stuff going, that's still not the marriage that God honors. The part that God honors is when you go have sex, because you just made a covenant with her. Marriage was sexual intercourse. That's why when a man would get the virgins and have sex with them, what happened? She would bleed. Why? Because covenants are made with blood. A covenant was cut. You just now married that woman. You get what I'm saying? The woman at the well, she had sex with 5 different guys, and Jesus said, hey, you have 5 husbands. The one you're with now is not your husband. You haven't had sex with him yet. And she was like, oh, I perceive you a prophet. You see what I mean? Because we ain't understanding what marriage was. So now we get into all the, what I call the fluff around it, and we just lost what the whole foundation of what real marriage was all about. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We just lost it, completely lost it.
But did you understand what I said about women? Most women don't want to be alone. They just afraid to go through the same thing over and over and over again. Because I know there's some women on here that wants their husband, they want to be married, but they don't want to go through the same thing. I don't know. It's like you playing Russian roulette. You got to take that chance.
No, I get you. I get you. In fact, a lot of women, they looking at it from the children. They got to start all over again and got to take all this time and go through the thing. And what if he's the same way and so forth on? Don't you know what you think or what dominant in your mind attracts exactly what your fear is? Psychology. This is statistically proven. What's in your mind can attract. A lot of people try to figure out why they're attracting the same type of people. You know, so why I'm attracting all these type of men? Well, because your subconscious mind can actually pull somebody towards you. You know, the mind is powerful. You use 10% of your brain. You got 100% that's still in function that you don't even know that is being controlled. Like right now, and if I say stop blinking, you can stop blinking now, right? But if I would have never said it, your mind would have automatically made you blink and you wasn't even conscious of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the part. Your subconscious mind control a lot, and we don't even know it. That's why they say the laws of attraction. They come up with the laws of attraction. They come up with a lot of different things scientifically, but yeah, at the same time, it carries some weight to a degree. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff I disagree with, you know, that they deal with because, you know, I am in the process of the book, Theopsychology. You know, aggregation of theology, psychology, and biology. I'm trying to show people how to really understand the triumphs of who they are, so you can understand why you make your decisions. You can understand how to in between of the wrong decision, how to actually rationalize suppressing your emotions to be able to make the right decisions at the same time. How to see things in men that you would never see before, things like that. All the different techniques. So, but at the same time, your mind actually can attract that what you think of, because it's dominant in your mind. Then you automatically attract it. In fact, you search for it so much to where you find it. And some women bring it out of a man. Interesting enough. I'm saying some powerful stuff when it comes to that type of stuff. You know, a woman even can bring that part out of a man. You see what I mean? As much as he try to suppress it, she can bring it out of him. Vice versa. Works both ways. You know, but like I said, that's a whole nother different teaching topic. Yeah. But I just want people that just understand the way you saw relationships in the past. We have to redefine the relationships. All that stuff has to be redefined. How you love, how relationships supposed to go, leadership, head part, all that stuff has to be redefined. We have to restructure it based on the 21st century mindset. You see what I mean? Because it's not gonna work the way it used to work in the past. It's just not gonna happen. We seeing it. We seeing the effects of it. We're seeing infidelity on a mass scale. Teen pregnancy on a mass scale. Everything we're seeing is on a mass scale. Why? Because people are not understanding how to deal with the generation that they're in, and they're trying to use old school principles for new. Even Jesus said you can't sew old wineskins onto new, old linen onto new linen. You can't pull new wine into old wineskins. They don't even go together. It don't have its belonging. You see what I mean? It's a shifting of the mind that we have to do. The shifting of a man's position and the shifting of a woman's position. If a woman position, now look, it's just hypothetical. They say a woman positions to be the cook for their man. So first of all, I cook, and that's not being boastful, but I cook better than anybody. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm a strategic cooker. You know, my mama, she's a vegan, and she make all her recipes, all her special sauce and all that stuff. Well, I'm a cooker too. I do all that type of stuff. If I got married, I don't even need my woman to cook. I want to cook. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a cooker and I know how to make fancy, you know, dinners and stuff like that. So when you talk about, well, the woman position is, no, that depends on the caliber of man. So that's why I say everything has to be redefined. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The women get together. Oh, so let your man do his football. I don't even like football. I don't even watch it. Basketball, I don't even care too much about it. I like it when Kobe was playing, but I care too much. I would rather be with my wife at a beach having fun than to go watch basketball or watch football. That's just me. Everybody is different. Yeah. You see what I mean? And we taking principles from one relationship, trying to make it apply to all relationships, and it don't, because everybody is different. They think different. Yeah. One man may like sausages. I may like steak. He may like hamburgers. You know what I'm saying? The man gave you some advice. Go cook your man a big T-bone steak dinner, but he don't even like steak. He rather have chicken. He rather have Thai food, Chinese food. All that stuff is what I call the fluff. There is a central focus, and this is why I deal with men as a whole. And when I teach on the principles of how a man supposed to operate, his position of order, I do it from a standpoint to where it applies to all men. You see what I mean? No matter what type of, things they like or the fluff around it. Same thing with the women. It applies to all women. No woman can get around the fact that they're emotional being because God made you that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nowhere can a man get around from that prideful mentality because it was ingrained to you once sin came in. So I deal with the realities, the facts, and I show them how to change within that. And then I look at the fluff to show them how them fluff is affecting the way they move in life. You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically how I teach in that sense. I'm trying to put people, everyone in the same box. Exactly, because everybody don't fit in the same box. Everybody is different. You know what I'm saying? What is a defect in one person's relationship, the other relationship does it all the time, and it's even helping their relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work that way. For real, the Father made each relationship unique in His way. Amen. So that's it. I don't want to go too farther. Like I said, I'm at my car lot, you guys. So if anybody need a car, come on down. I'll make sure you get approved. Make sure you get financed. If you want to do a trade-in, finance, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get you going with that. Amen. So come on down to my car lot. I'm gonna get you driving off. Anything else you want to say? I just want to throw a little bit of nuggets for them. I'm gonna be doing some more of the Women in Danger series. I'm gonna do part 5. I'm gonna do a continuation of Women in Danger. Part 5, so I got to finish that continuation on that. You know what's crazy? There were so many videos as I was going back on my Facebook page and looking at my archives. There's a lot of videos that I was supposed to complete. Do the Book of Acts, the Untold Story, I didn't complete. Through the Book of James, Untold Story, I didn't complete that. The Women in Danger, I didn't do part 5. It was for Speculation of Revelation. I do part 4 and 5. I was looking at all the ones. I was like, dang, I've been getting so busy I couldn't complete all these teachings. But I'm gonna try to get some of that stuff done for 2022. Because I think people need it. They need it. I said, God bless you, Bishop. Thank you. Amen. You're welcome. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. But so yeah, like I said, I just want to just deal with certain issues because we could look at it one way. We could constantly put the men down. Men could constantly put the women down, call them all these type of names and stuff like that, but not realizing that all of this is a defect. There's some things that has to be eradicated, things that have to be healed from, things that have to be pulled out of their subconscious mind. You know what I'm saying? Because what's launching your subconscious mind going to show up in your character, and it only shows up once it's hit. You see what I mean? And then when you do it and your actions come, you're going to be sitting to yourself saying, dang, why did I do that? Dang, what you going to be questioning yourself.
Yeah.
Because your subconscious mind to get back. That's why it's important to really, this is why the Bible talks about be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. That's why the renewing is a consistent thing every day, because it has to be renewed, it has to be refreshed. Interesting enough, whole other topic. I ain't going to get started on that. It says, let's do a part 2. This was really good today. Okay. Amen. So,
we
yeah,
said, Bishop, this was really good, and it was needed. It was needed, and I think it will be good if we do a part 2. The women really want to know. I mean, if you don't know, how can you change if you don't know? You don't know, you just don't know.
Yes. And you know something? I have so many teachers. I say at least about 4 books in my head dealing with just the women. Probably like 3 books dealing with just the men, and then dealing with the couples and stuff like that. Most of the time, like when I teach, I have to restrict myself because there's certain things that I don't want the men to hear because they can use that as things I don't want the women to hear because they can use that as well. So it's like really I like to equip each person with the tools they need so when they come together they can have a healthy relationship. You see what I mean? But like I say, there's a lot of things that messed up our minds, society, and what they project on TV messed up our minds. And now even people that's been married for a while looking at their husband and wives as a suspect just because of what they watch on TV. You see what I mean? Now they want to dig into their phone and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy, but that's life. But what I'm gonna do?
If anybody want to bless Bishop, that is his Cash App. We thank him for coming on here and taking the time to teach us. So if anybody wants to bless him, his Cash App is right there, $ Bishop D. Brooks. We are really appreciated because people pay hundreds of dollars to listen and be taught about these things. So we gotta start appreciating people that's doing it and doing it just because out of the kindness of their heart. They don't have to do it. So we got to start appreciating people when they come out and try to teach you. It's not that we're charging anybody. It's just that it's the right thing to do. Just be a blessing to someone that's blessing you.
Man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gratitude is it means a lot. I've been one to always teach, and then even though I joined a couple of foundations where they actually charge them for the mentorship and stuff like that, and they put me on the panel, but it's like I get a joy out of helping people change their lives just for free because God gifted me with the wisdom and knowledge for it as well. But I want to start doing some Zooms. I'm gonna start setting up a Zoom, a woman's Zoom, for to deal with just the women. On certain things, give them the techniques that I really want them to have that I probably wouldn't say here on Facebook Live, and then deal with the men at the same time. We do have a mentorship coaching. It's called Dare to Dream, Dare to #1 Dream .com, where we actually coaching people. But like I said, I like coming on and changing people's lives. Changing their lives for the better. Helping them make the right decisions. Because it's hard to make decisions when your emotions is everywhere. Yep. You know what I'm saying? When your emotions is everywhere, your decision making, you're going to always regret the decisions that you make. And it's real easy and real simple to even know the type of man that you have, which is easy. I mean, easy, simple techniques, just simple techniques that women have the ability to do, but because of the emotions, they don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to kind of like strengthen them in that area as well. Same thing with the men, more when it comes to the men, it's just more about getting them to operate appropriately, and properly in their position of order. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of men are just out of order. The book I did, I haven't put it out yet. I was gonna put it out the beginning of this year, but I think I'm gonna put it out in the middle of this year. It's called The Real Reason Men Cheat. And like I said, it's only one reason men cheat and hundreds of excuses that men use to justify why they cheated. You see what I mean? And so at the same time, when women understand that the reality, then they can stop blaming themselves as if they've been a defect, because then they'll change things about themselves that they should never change, because a man is deflecting, he kind of making it as if they the one that's the problem when they're not really the problem. So the woman, out of emotions to get the changes and things about herself that she should never change in the first place. And so them some of the tools, from that book is some very powerful stuff, and I may probably even teach from that book, on Zooms when I just deal with the women at the same time. But like I said, there's a lot of things that I want to kind of like really get people on the right track. Get people on the right track. Get you guys, established all the way around.
Well, we're gonna have you. I'm gonna be doing a women's conference. It's called "You Are My Sister," and we're gonna have you come out maybe at that time. We're gonna figure out a time when we're gonna do the conference and have you come out and talk to the women, because the women need to be healed, and that's what the conference is about. You are my sister, and we're going to do some healing. There's some healing that needs to take place. So God gave me that the other night, and so I don't know when yet, but when we set it up, if you can come out.
Put it together. I'll be there.
Yeah, for you to come out and,
anything to change somebody's life, I'll be there.
All righty.
2022 is it's a year where people have to step out on a whole different scale. You can't be who you were in 2021.
No.
You cannot be who you were in 2021. This is the year where you got to step out, change your mindset, change the way you think. I don't know if you've seen that thing I posted up where I said, look in the spiritual mirror. Have you seen that video? The light on my page? Yeah. Look in the spiritual mirror. That's all I can say. If y'all don't know what that means, go and watch the video. Look in the spiritual mirror. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we got to change some things for 2022. A lot of you guys already was impregnated with what God wants you to have, and a lot of you guys are about to kill yourself inwardly because you haven't released the baby.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you got to be real with yourself. This helped me out because my mindset needs to be fixed. The mind got to be always renewed. You got to renew your mind all the time, and it just take one little seed. The enemy will put a seed in there, and then you just play it over and over in your head, and then you start reacting to what the enemy put in there.
And guess where the seed usually come from? Guess where that seed usually come from? Even though it come from the enemy, but it's family members that's able to put them seeds in your head. It's church members. You know what I'm saying? It's prophets and false prophets, false apostles. Mm-hmm. False bishops, they can put them seeds in your head, and them seeds, they begin to grow and take root. Mm-hmm. And they begin to grow and take root into your heart.
And that's very true. You're speaking truth right now. Yeah.
And people will be eating off of your tree, and your tree will have bad fruit.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Very true.
So we gotta control. What goes into our heart. Like I said, It's a lot to this. It's a lot to this. A lot of teachers, a lot of different areas. I think I jumped over probably 15 different separate teachings on today. But okay, you guys, I gotta get inside this car. I got some people coming down. I gotta get these people approved.
Okay, well, thank you so much again for coming on. God bless you. Have a blessed day. We appreciate your teaching. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless. God bless you guys. All right. God bless.
God bless you, everyone. I see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be talking about manipulation. What's love? The difference between love and manipulation. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. I hope this was good, that you guys got something out of this, because it was good for me. Gosh, so much we got to learn about our own selves, you know. So we thank God. Father, we just thank you for this time. We ask you that you would just bless each and every one of us, that you continue to renew our minds, God, that you help us, Father God, not to be emotional and go so much to the emotion, but Father God, because the enemy uses our emotions to have us messed up. But Father God, I just thank you right now, Father God, that you would just continue to just bless us, keep us, and protect us, oh God. Protect us and help us, oh God. God, if we need healing from bad past relationships, heal us, oh God. Heal us, oh God, because sometimes you think you're healed, but then little things come up and you be like, you're not healed. There's still something there. Father, I'm asking you that you will help us. Help us, Father God. Help us, Lord. As he said, we're not to be alone, God. Help us not to be afraid to move forward in relationships, oh God, because that spirit of fear, we just talked about fear. Fear could come in and make us feel like we don't need to be in relationships. So we just thank you for helping us. And we bless you this morning, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you, sisters and brothers, and we see you tomorrow, okay? God bless you. Love you guys.